Hello everyone and welcome to the first league game on this channel from this league seasons. So we have a game between Jaapaasa and Darth Jar Jar. Both are in Division 2 and of course in the same group. So Darth Jar Jar is also known as Zagalito. If you haven't known, I also didn't know that, but someone pointed it out to me under my division overview video. So thank you to, I think Bori was that, maybe? Anyway, thank you to whoever did it. So yeah, this is the first video of that group. First match from that group, which means that no matter who of these two players wins, they will definitely have a nice start, but it's nowhere near decided whether they will continue on or not. But it definitely means that you have more pressure or a little bit less pressure. Now, also just want to quickly mention that if you haven't known this, there is the Fantasy League. So for all of you out there who are not participating, and also for those who are participating, but I guess you would know that, you can basically, if you're on the STL Discord, you can submit. Just go to announcement. There's a Google Docs document, and you can look at how it works. But basically, you can basically build your own team out of different players, and they get points as they win. And whose team gets the most wins the fantasy league. It's just a little bit of gambling, basically, and predicting. So a fun little thing that you can do. I think you can submit until Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to participate, make sure that you do this in time. But anyway, let's now go to the decks. And we start off with 715th Infantry, a division that we all know it has been quite strong since it came out. But with the last meta change, I feel like it has kind of lost a little bit of its glory because infantry just isn't as important anymore as it used to be. And when it comes to the tanks, this division is actually a little bit lacking. Like it has a good mix of tools, but you don't get a lot in terms of medium tanks after B phase. But anyway, let's get into it. So recon tab, we have the 20 mil recon card is quite nice. Aufklärer Panzer 2, fantastic good as well. And then you have the Decima Exploratory, quite strong. It's a Beretta unit with a TNT, and I think it has commando as well. So this is quite a beast. Infantry tab, also some quite nice options there. I would see the Luftwaffe Jäger and then the Pioneer 15W, which, I mean, it's higher availability. Yes, it's disheartened, but with a Pioneer, I don't know, doesn't really matter that much. I feel like it does make a difference, but I think it's not that bad. Then we have the Panzergrenadier 41, and one of them with the AT rifles, which are quite bad. Honestly, the AT rifle, not the actual unit itself. And then we have the different type of Decima, another one of the special units for this division. We have the Decima and the Decima DT in B phase, and then some more Panzerguns. And in Z phase, we only have some Decima, so that's quite interesting for a balance build. It always has enough infantry, I feel like. Then tank tab, yeah, as I said, you have the P40, you have some Stücks, and then it's basically only Tigers. It's a little bit limited. Support tab, this is a fantastic support tab. You have all the nice tools and lots of them, except for flamethrowers. These are missing here. We see the IG-18, MG42, IG-33s, some ammo, and the Sturmpanzer. A T-tab also quite nice. And he brings it fully loaded. We have some Panzerschrecks, Marder, then Pack 38s and Pack 40s, as well as the Elephant, which in this matchup is not really necessary, in my opinion. Now, of course, there's not much that BRO can do against the Elephant, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really give you that much value here, so eh. But that's just my opinion, of course. A-tab, yes, you have the SDK set and the Flag 36, both fine tools, but this can be a weakness at times if your opponent decides to airspam you. And then the artillery tab, you have the Lorraine, fantastic unit there, 122, and the Mercer 22 mil as well. These are all fantastic RT pieces. Air tab as well, some recon, Fokker Wolf as fighter bomber and as fighter, and then the DO 217, also quite strong plane. And on the other side, we do have First Infantry, Big Red 1. So interesting matchup here with this division, of course, because I feel like Jaapaasa will have the advantage when it comes to CQC in A phase. Then in B phase, it's kind of mixed. It really depends on what Jaapaasa has left. But at least, grenade throwers, you generally tend to beat submachine gun units, so he should have a little bit of an advantage there. Definitely has to be a little bit afraid of the light armor. that 715 can bring in A phase. But he has the M8 in the recon tab to deal with that, as well as some snipers later on in B phase. Infantry tab has, of course, all these special units that we know: Assault Buster, the Assault Fire Support, the Stone Walrus, Assault Preachers, and the Assault Team. And then we have the Assault Leader as well, which is the only unit in this division that actually comes in with a bazooka in A phase. So that's quite important there. This is, of course, one of the weaknesses of this division. Then in B phase, we do see a lot of double vet, because remember, this division comes with free veterancy on its infantry, which is absolutely fantastic. So we have some engineers, rifles early, and then in C phase some rifles late, all at double vet. Love to see that. Tank tab, you have some Stewards and then some Shermans in A phase. Of course, you cannot bring any Shermans in B phase. They are phase locked to MP, which is a little bit of a disadvantage, especially for Maverick. So often you see people putting basically all trims that they can in A phase to kind of make up for that and make sure that they have enough in B phase. But Jaapaasa decides that he doesn't need that. So interesting decision there. In the support tab, we just do see some M7s, DDs, and some M3 howitzers in A phase. So plenty of 2K to go there. And then only B phase you get access to 50 cals. IT tab, another weakness of this division is that you have to rely on the M1 gun for A phase. And it's not necessarily a massive weakness, but it can be a little bit of a problem. Now, looking over to 715, I'm a little bit surprised that Darth Jar Jar decided not to bring a Tiger in Aves, because this is where it actually can be basically unkillable for Jaapaasa at range, because the M1 gun's not going to do it. And then in B phase, you get access to all the good stuff, and we see it all here: bazookas, M5 gun, and the M10. And then the A tab also quite nice, because you get Bofors, and Bofors, we all know it, but you get the what's it, M16 or something like that, the quadruple 50 cal unit on top of it for a reduced price to compared to its normal price. I think it's usually 60 points, and here it's like 30. So why not just take it? You can use it for additional AA, which it's not great at, or you can also use it against infantry. That's quite nice. Artillery tab, some spotters so that you actually have recon, then the 81 mortar off map in A, interesting, leader, and then some radio, not some radio, some artillery in B phase. The air tab also quite nice with some recon, and then the A20G, which is quite strong. It's decently fast, has decently strong bomb blade, and I think medium resilience, not good resilience, but I'm not 100% sure. Still very decent overall. So quite nice to see that. And with that, let's go back to the game. So, as always, we start with the deployments. Down south, we do see a more aggressive push by a Jaapaasa, pretty standard. He's on the bad side, of course, which means this is the best place for him to push, unless he actually managed to get into here, which is debatable usually. And he has the advantage of having some fast transports, though, compared to 715 infantry, which definitely helps. We do see some of the fast assault teams. I mean, okay, there's literally call assault. You know what I mean? Like all the all the assault units and an 8. This is answered with Pack 38, but in a position where it probably can't intercept this, and then some Pioneers, Luftwaffe Jäger, and a Panzerschreck should definitely be helpful. Now, in the center and the town, we see a very light deployment. We do have an IG-18 and an MG-42 covering this off, pretty classic. The problem is if Red actually wants to push it, there's not much you can do to deny that. And then, like the initial push at least, it's relatively difficult. And then we do see some very defensive deployments all around here, some Pack 38s mainly. And on Jaapaasa's side, we don't see any aggressive pushes in here. We do see, I have to assume, yeah, this goes over here, and then some recon. He doesn't actually try to go for this flank, just defensively here, some support unit here, and looks like he's trying to set up here to assist the town, I have to imagine. And then up north, we do see some early flanking maneuvers here. I'm not really sure what's going there. Is it just a recon? Yeah, it's a recon. Okay, it's nothing super aggressive. And very defensive in the town as well. Meanwhile, up north, we do see the main push from Darth Jar Jar. I usually try to, use the name that people use in the Discords, but Darth Jar Jar, cool name. I want to keep that. So we see the main push, but it's an odd one. So it looks like he's actually attempting to go for this flag, which you sometimes do see, but the problem is it's a lot of ground, it's very deep, and it's only one flag, right? This is just something that you can contest much easier. Although with the speed disadvantage, it's maybe not that contestable. But anyway, let's start this. So one thing that should definitely be pointed out here is that Jaapaasa is, of course, a little bit at a disadvantage on his side, right? Red side is generally just much harder than blue side because this is the best flag you can go for. Um, Meanwhile, blue side can realistically grab this flag. This one is much more contestable, and while you're in this area, it's just easy. It's just generally doable to grab this as well, like to grab both. It's not necessarily easy, but like you can make one main pusher and kind of try to go for both at the same time, and that just makes it much easier than going for single flags at a time. Now, the problem is also that I would argue that Jaapaasa cannot make as good of an advantage from his actually strong CQC infantry, because there's just not that many key forest patches that he can easily grab. Meanwhile, the same is not true for Jar Jar on blue side. So in B phase, when he actually gets the Dechim items, might be able to make good use of it. But the speed difference makes, like, really shows it. The Assault Buster got in very aggressively, takes down the Pioneer Fur. This is the one with the rocket gun, which is quite strong within 100 to 300 meters, basically, so very, very limited. It's not going to get slapped around by the Pioneers, but it has the gun bomb, the Willy Pete, sorry. Now we see the Soul teams pushing forward, so I feel like this is not going to go well. Now further north we do see this push slowly developing, but I'm not a huge fan of it. Like as I said, it's very deep. Like you have to go very deep to grab one flag. You have a lot of ground to cover, so you need like a lot of units to cover all of this, because otherwise you can easily do encirclements and such. So it's just generally not super easy. Overall, I would argue that despite the 2k HE heaviness of first US, I would argue that 715 actually has, no, I wouldn't argue, I mean, it's pretty sure that 715 actually has an advantage, especially in B phase when Darth Jar Jar gets access to his elephants. The problem is then, however, that he is, down in income. So he can't actually pressure the open as effectively. This is going to be my prediction here. Now, 2-on-1, these will probably win, but this is quite, an investment to beat one of these assault. Oh no, it's Assault Breacher, yeah, and they will definitely win. I was looking at the Assault team there. But yeah, turns out the Assault team wins. The two Assault Busters got killed off, though. Jaapaasa grabbed the flag, though, 13-11. And we do see an early mortar in. It's going for some smoke plays, which I love to see. So he just wants to... Wait, is it not smoke place? I thought white is... Oh, it is. Oh, so he... Okay, the regular ones, and now he queued up the smoke. Never mind. Let's make sure that this AT gun can't transport snipe, although he's not following up with anything. But, I mean, he's probably afraid of tanks coming or anything for these light armored units there. We see counter push down south with some Aufklärer Panzer II. These are quite nasty. The Assault Leader can kill them with the bazooka, but Jaapaasa has to be careful. His M8 died. That might have had a chance to kill them as well. They have decent stats though in channel, so. And I mean, there's not lots of pioneers. The problem with the pioneers is, of course, they need some microing in order to win against flamers. But like, if he can go 2-on-1, or like bait some of the flames out with the Luftwaffe, that's of course a different story. Also, I'm trying to get a little bit more into like general battlefield like analysis and like tactics and meta and whatnot. Someone mentioned that like I tried to comment on these a little bit more. It's also learning experience for me because this is something that I am not that good at just yet. I really try to improve on that. But yeah, it's something that I want to do a little bit more because I feel like it is very undervalued. I've just seen a video from Master Vox, and I think where he's done this really excellently, and it really, I don't know, it just gives so much more value to a cast. So I try to do that a little bit more. But yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys prefer. If you prefer more looking at individual fights, or I try to do a balanced thing, that's the goal. But yeah, just let me know what you prefer, really. Assault fire support here, engaging from the Panzergrenadiers. So it looks like engaging the Panzergrenadiers. So it looks like Ipaza is now poking forward for the town, and his Mercs really just covering off his next push. He has now a M1 gun positioned himself, so anything that comes down that road might also be shot at. Assault Breacher pushing here. That's risky. Pack 38 might be able to pick them off. I don't think Yupaz has noticed that it is there. He has grabbed his flag now with his push here with the Assault Buster. Assault teams are coming as well. MG42 here, by the way, something that I also tend to forget. I can actually cover some ground here as well. Oh, Pack 38 gets a kill. Second Assault team is unloading time. Yupaz doesn't notice. 105 now opening up on the MG42. This is a pretty classical spot here because you can kind of cover off this ground. You can cover this area off as well, so it's a pretty nice spot. Recon here, unbothered, no. There comes the AA. He passes to be careful, the smoke will not last forever. Is it in range though? No, it isn't. If he turns here, it is not. Paz already going after Pack 38, but Darth Jar Jar is a little bit ahead. He has already assumed that it's going to get shelled and has retreated it. For now, it looks like he's just happy building up forces here for his next attack. And as like or something like that, he would definitely do a great job. And then you could just move in and start surrendering things. The problem is, once again, Pioneer against his soul teams just don't match well. He kind of needs to do the ground attack trick. And uh, in this specific scenario, this is actually a massive disadvantage that these units are disheartened, because if that's the case, the leader will definitely help though. If that's with the disheartened, they just take much more suppression, and with constantly getting hit by flames, this makes a massive difference. Vulture now going after the MG42. That's a good choice because, of course, your panzer needs to be able to operate around here relatively freely. P40 takes out the Steward. M8 will struggle to pen these. He can, but really only up close, and it's not going to be easy. M16 moving forward, again, I guess for infantry support, love to see that. So we do see a massive mistake here by Darth Jar Jar. So he has prepared this push, right, which usually is not that great anyway, and he hasn't really like carried it out. He's not carried it out. He's not followed up on it. He's not done anything really. And the problem with that is that it actually gave Japan time to reinforce that just a bit. And if you look at the units here, it actually is enough to last there. We do see an attack down south now coming. There has been no weakening with artillery or planes. But speaking of artillery, Lorraine is now out on the battlefield. Ypres are being forced back, but some of these units are already quite suppressed. Luftwaffe with the AVT can actually do some work at these ranges. One Pioneer in. The problem is it's gonna run into the Assault team now. It is not the Assault team. Oh, the Assault team got stuck on the Luftwaffe. This might be the death of the Assault team. Yeah. It's not moving, it's not using the flame. Is the Pioneer actually stuck in a... what? Oh, it's within... it doesn't look like it to me, but I guess, yeah, it's stuck in MG34 range. Interesting. Second Assault team comes to help though. Now we see Focke-Wulf coming. Yeah, that should have happened before he made his push. It would have made it a lot easier. Now the grenade get thrown. Interesting. Assault team goes down. Ypres' push here broken down. There's not much here. That's basically it for this flank. And this is what gives him the advantage right now. But his push in the town is going well. I mean, he's pushing forward. He has a stone... well, the stone wallers, yeah, just not that good. But 20 points, yeah, the BAR, eh. And M1s are still M1s. I mean, you can spend them around. You can't give them any veterancy. This one has because of the Sherman there. You have some nice leader positioning. Aggressive Sherman, but also providing leadership to all these units, which I love to see. I was about to comment on the Lorraine being called in and being silent, but it is already in use. So this is what you have to do. Don't forget to use your artillery, guys. Happened to me in a very recent game, that the one that I saw on Master Box. Yeah, don't forget to use your artillery. Like, it's massive investments, and if you let it sit there not doing anything, then you basically just waste the points. And you also have to remember that the artillery doesn't generate usually not always, but usually doesn't generate a lot of value right away. Usually it takes some time to generate value. So you want to start as early as possible with it. Oh, Pack 38 finds the Sherman here. APCR is on, which honestly at this range I think is good. Because, yeah, can you see it bouncing? So it has 100 millimeters of pen, and the Sherman has 100 millimeters of armor, and at 1,000-meter range, that can still bounce decently often. So it's not bad to have the APCR on this range against Sherman, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion, though. Against lighter tanks, of course, you do want to turn it off, because otherwise the tank might survive that, otherwise would die. Darth Jar Jar pushing very slowly. The problem is that he's now facing these units at this range where they can actually do a lot of work, and now the Pioneers are not that great at this range. Panzer are following up. The problem is the Pioneers should really wait and not start engaging, which they do, or at least one of them does, so this will get absolutely wrecked. We have reached B phase though, so Dechima Spalatori now in. Fantastic unit there, an IG-33 here as well to cover off this open ground. So I guess he has spotted the M1 gun and wants to clear it out to then follow up with his armor. So generally, I don't know. I mean, this is Jaapasa's strong position, I would say, in the town with the Shermans and all his good infantry. But the detachment in the town are not something to underestimate, right? CQC can be strong in the right spots in towns in general, and then they also have an MG42. So that means that you can actually get a relatively good value out of them because while they are not a true hybrid unit, right, because they have nothing at range other than the MG42, they can still kind of act like one. Like if you really needed to perform at range, it can do it. Not good, but it can function. And now we do see more Dechima coming. Yeah, this is just such an odd thing. I think Darth Jar Jar should really just abandon the idea of pushing through here and focus somewhere else. Like, he could take this town. It's not very heavily defended, but Jaapaasa gets to keep it for basically free. Like, look at all the units that are just chilling here. I think Darth Jar Jar is really just not aggressive enough. We haven't seen any really aggressive pushes anywhere. And, like, if you play balanced versus, and he's a good player, he knows that, or I assume so at least. But if you play balanced versus any aggressive income, really, you need to pressure your opponent early on and make sure that you can get some positive traits and ideally some ground that your opponent has to fight hard to get back first, because that otherwise, especially in a tournament setting where you have the time limit, otherwise what's going to happen is that your opponent, especially if your opponent actually gets a tick, he's already ahead, and then B phase comes, he might get the 15-9, and all of a sudden you don't have that much time left. And you have to remember that, like in a tournament game, you have to make up for that eventually, right? You have to, at the end of the day, you have to either take your opponent down completely, or at least further than he takes you down, and this matters a lot. Like, as long as you can turn it around eventually in a quick play game, that's okay. But in tournament setting, this doesn't work. Pack 38 wins a Sherman. Yeah, just bounces. I don't know. These things are such a mixed bag for me. Goes down to the Sherman. Yeah, sometimes they can get a lot of value. You can get a lot of value out of them, but sometimes they just don't perform that well. Shermans are one of the examples where you would think like, oh, yeah, 100 millimeters of pen versus 100 millimeters of armor, that's good. But in reality, they often fail to pen, in my opinion. Stormwaters was just able to push forward here, so this shows Jaapaasa has correctly assessed the situation, realized there's like nothing stopping him from actually pushing in here. The Luftwaffejäger is sitting here, the Panzergrenadier here, so yeah, no coverage here. Jaapaasa decided it, that, I mean, it's a cheap unit, you can try to do it. You just walked in and got a flag for free, 15-9. There we go. And Darth Jar Jar so far struggling to get this back. IG-33 has been deployed, but I guess he hasn't spotted the M1 gun then, because it hasn't done anything, so just wanted it for channel support. Dechima Spalatori managed to get in though, that's going to be an issue. It gets moved, probably, but the problem is, 8 Berettas, they are going to shred. Now the current difference is something to account for as well, but with the help of the Panzergrenadier, it's not going to matter. I think we just saw one of these, so the second A20G in, but we have an SDKF set now to cover this off. Might actually shoot it down. Oh, that's a big kill. It's 140 points down the drain. So it's not nothing. But we do see the mighty 50 cals now. Jaapaasa has so many units here now. Truthfully, some of them are quite cheap. Like we see all the Stormwallers and the Assault Fire Support aren't exactly expensive either. But I mean, we do have some rifles early. We do have some assault teams here as well. We have the Shermans, of course. Stück 3 now coming in. This should do a lot better against the Sherman. The problem is at this range, the Sherman can still realistically pen it. And of course, the Sherman shoots first as always. Oh, gets the kill instantly. Wow, that's just brutal. But the Dechima Exploratori performing quite nicely. The problem is it's a recon unit, so has some struggles there. It could definitely kill the engineer now that it has finished reloading. So I could at least trade with it, I guess. Now we see the off map. Oh, if you look at the map, I mean, of course, your pilot doesn't know. If you look at the map, he doesn't actually need it. Oh, I kind of missed that. We have an M10, an M1 gun, and a 105 here now. So a lot of support here for really all types of unit that might come around here. And that's quite annoying because, of course, your reinforcements can take two roads, right? This one or this one. And you have to be very careful now with how you actually bring them in because they might get sniped. So over here finally got pushed back, and now we finally see Darth Jar Jar's push developing. I don't know what took him so long. Like, he could have done this way earlier. And he really should have done this way earlier. Like, either right at the start or then just try to go this way, really. Because, like, he could try to go for this flag. Like, he could just swing down here. Instead of going for such a deep flag. It's something that you hardly ever see because it's usually not that good. Like, one thing that you might see is that you go for this town, both sides fight over this town, and then blue decides. For red, you can also try to put something like here and grab this cheekily, but it's something that you usually see on blue side. Sometimes that, you know, they try to sneak a unit through here or here, and then you have to react on red side. It's just super annoying. But like going in there with a major attack force is something that you hardly ever see. Now he retreats. I don't really know why. Yes, the Panzerschreck there, but he also, you know, I guess yeah, Dechima's low. That's why he kind of wants to support that. That's the issue, right? And 5 gun now in position here can cover off this open. That's going to be a little bit of an issue. Ooh, sorry, had to yawn. It's evening here, so more rifles coming in center. So Jaapaasa pushing the town, developing quite nicely. He's still on a 13-11 though, and for Maverick versus Balance, I do feel like you kind of need the 59. It's not impossible without it, and the fact that Jaapaasa was on a 13-11 for such a long time actually matters a lot. Like, this makes a massive, massive difference. Because he now would, like, by the end of B phase, he would need to hold on for like 12 minutes, which is hard but doable potentially. To take Darth Jar Jar completely down, or, you know, if he can just hold on for like 10 minutes and then Darth Jar Jar takes the lead, if he can just delay him long enough, he might still win the game. So that's something to keep in mind. That's an important factor here, but still, it's generally, I would say, required. Oh, plane goes down. That's bad. 820 going in. Yeah, the flag 36 is not that good. It's a 37mm is alright, but it is nothing compared to the flag 43. And just not that strong in shell. Oh, he actually bombs his own engineer and 20mm recon car while all these units are still alive. Now we do see the Panzergrenadier wing down here. If you could do an encirclement now, this would be great, but the problem is that there's way too many units here ready. And oh, bad timing. Jar Jar brought in all these Dechima RDT to reinforce this area, but now Jaapaasa just drops the off-map on him. I feel like Jaapaasa actually did the smart play here. We actually have 13 for of Jar Jar. Interesting. So he regrabs this flag, because right, Jaapaasa is pushing here, but there's nothing here actually, and he's holding that flag. Back to 12 flag. This very momentarily. Oh, this. Wow, look at that. Never seen this. The M8 is just out of line of sight. It would easily go down. The Assault Buster and Engineers are pushing back here though. So Jaapaasa trying to take back this forest part. More reinforcements coming. Off-mark goes down. But yeah, what I was going to say is that I think Jaapaasa actually did the smart thing here. Which I would have expected from a player of his skill level. But he brought the off map because he expected that he might need it in town. Then he didn't actually need it, and he realized that, right? And so he waited, and as soon as there was a lot there that would actually ask for an off map, then he actually used it, right? So because sometimes what you see some players do is like they bring an off map and then they're just using it because they have it and they want to push anyway, but they don't actually like look at the situation and think about if like ask first, is the off map actually really needed? And I mean, truly, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you just don't know that the off map is now needed or it isn't. But yeah, sometimes it would be, I would say it can be seen that it was needed, and it's used regardless. Oh, we do see some good traits here for the Decima Exploratory, and all of a sudden, Yupaz's counter push gets counter pushed. We see more Decima and Decima Exploratory coming in. Love to see that. Panzergrenadier here win the fight, but unfortunately they are encircled, and yeah, there we go. Line collapses, 13-11 for Yupaza once again. The A-20 is going after them. Are they going to kill it? It's only 5 points, so it might they get a good hit. Soul Team forces off the Decima, but the P40 is here to help, and there's no armor that could match the P40 here yet, and there's none coming either. In general, we don't see that much armor out from Yupaz, and of course this is because he doesn't actually have that many Shermans. He has like, what's it, in total 6? 5 or 6 that have to last through 8 and B phase, so that's not a lot. Mainly in the town. He's lost his flag again. He's poking for it again, but yeah, this is where the limitations start, because he can start covering this off from like back here, and this is not an area where Ipas doesn't necessarily has a massive advantage. We also have some 20mm recon cars here, which I don't know, they could have been so strong early on, and they haven't really been used that well, and I don't get it, because light armor in general is, or armor in general, but especially light armor, is one of the weak spots of first US in A phase. Like you can easily exploit the lack of bazookas. The rainbow is a constant work. I love to see that, and it is repositioning. It's something that I don't know, players sometimes forget that if you have this mobile artillery, you want to use it, right? It's a massive advantage that you can easily reposition it and make sure that it doesn't die. So we really have to take advantage of it. Panzergrenadier has not been moved. Jaapaasa very determined of killing that off. Makes a lot of sense because one of the worst things is units in your backline, so you might want to take care of this as soon as possible. Soul Team also going there to make sure that they die. We see a fresh push here now with some Decima and some Decima Esploratori. Jaapaasa just deploying defensively here. We are 3 minutes into C phase now, so Darth Jar Jar actually gets his income now, and the Yaapasa's income is severely throttled. Still only 13-11, but the question is for how long can he hold it? More waves of Decima come in. I mean, the bad news for Darth Jar Jar is, although maybe this is only, I hate that it doesn't show. You always look and then realize that it doesn't show, but it's possible that this is only one charge, but I would expect it to have more. Oh, nice positioning of the Panzergren here, because he can, of course, hit soft targets that are coming this way. And the 105 might spot them eventually, or are they just sitting? No, they're just sitting far enough back that the 105 can't see, so that Yupasa would have to manually target the area there. Now we do see a Tiger coming in, and one gun moving forward. The M1 gun can't do it. It's only 150mm of pen. The M5 gun is what would be needed, but it is nowhere to be seen. There's one that has been moved in position here. It looks like he killed something with the APCR, or at least engaged. Something's dead here. Did he kill that? Oh, that's a Sturmpanzer. Yeah, that's within line of sight. Looks like the M5 can kill that. That's great. That's a nice raid. I mean, this tool at range could have dominated quite a bit, but with that dead, it looks like Darth Jar Jar is going to have to wait a little bit longer till he can actually form a push here in the center, and the center would be where he is strong. Now that he has access to income and good tools, this is where you should focus, right? You should try to actually start contesting this. You could definitely go for these two flags. Like if you have the center, these two flags are very hard to defend for red side, so you should be going for these now. But instead, he focuses up here. I mean, the truth is that he's also quite strong in the woods now, so you can't fault him for that. But I feel like the town is just such a hard area to fight over for him. Because there's the Shermans, rifles early and all these kind of things, rifles late now as well. And still some of the original A-phase units that are quite strong. Both Lorraine's now in. Both... I hope this was a misclick. Why would you want to redirect them there? Okay, this area is not completely secured yet. Is he possibly pushing with an artillery commander? Yeah, he is. Why? That's gotta die. That's so gonna die. Turns out things quiet, so both players now focusing on this area of the map. Sherman coming in and one gun coming in. I don't know what he's planning with these. He's readying them up there. Oh wow, M6 M16 tractor goes down to the double 20 mils there, and there's no there's no AT here, so these can just bully all the infantry. Now this should have happened way sooner. Panzer II have same issue here, right? It can just bully infantry. There is a Sherman here, so if that moves, that might be a little bit of a problem. I would just see rows of infantry coming in. I mean, this is the problem now, right? 715, while they have some good tanks as well, are more of an infantry division, and infantry divisions just aren't as strong anymore as they used to be. Now, yes, Big Red 1 is also an infantry division, but they definitely do have more medium tanks, and medium tanks are just the king currently of the meta, especially Shermans. Shermans are one of the best tanks in general in the meta right now. So if all you have is a couple of sticks, that's a little bit of an issue, especially in towns like these. And of course, tigers, tigers are fantastic if your opponent can't kill them. But Jaapaasa unfortunately can kill them. Now, you might struggle at times, so it's still a valuable tool, but you need to use it in the right spot. Right now, the tiger's not doing anything here. Another 820 coming in. Just yeeting off his bombs. Focke-Wulf meanwhile bombing the assault fire support there. Area pinned or killed. Some bazookas coming in once again. I guess to deal with all the light armors. Look like the Sherman killed the Aufklärer Panzer II. Artillery here moving into position to stop these units from pushing forward. More coming in though. Yeah, I don't know why Darth Jar Jar refuses to go for the town. I feel like this would be a much more sensible choice. Like, yeah, he has an advantage in the forest here, but he would also have pretty good, like, hold in the town. Something that you should definitely try to go after. And you could definitely contest this flag as well, which he's doing though. Rose just coming in. Yeah, now he tries to get into here, but the problem is he doesn't support it with any armor. So, both Lorraine's got bombed. They are still alive though. But I don't know what they were doing. I still have to imagine it was a misclick. Don't know what else it could be. And 5 gun is out of APCR. It will struggle on against the Tiger. It can sorry, it can kill it, but it's not going to be an easy time. Oh, it gets the pen. Yeah, it showed side armor. No, Darth Jar Jar is moving it. It's gonna get. Oh no, it's gonna get a shot in the head. Bounces? What? No, it doesn't have. Yeah, I was about to say the armor is not that high there, and down it goes. Oh no, that's a major mistake there. Jar Jar is having a rough time. He still has 20 minutes left, so he could turn this around, but it needs to happen sooner and he needs to get to 59. Oh, P40 goes down to the bazooka here. Or do we see another encirclement? That would be very bad. Although these have commander, I think commander also includes a rated trade. So, yeah, they have commando. So the bubble will stay and he can still grab ground, but it's definitely not good. Sherman here will definitely put a hold to this. There's no bazookas there that can do anything. The O217 gets the bombs off. Both is here, and some 50 cals doing their work though. Oh, look at that. Kills the unit, get some pins. The Shermans here have died, so now Darth Jar Jar should be slowly able to push back in. Still 13-11 though, he needs to find a flag relatively soon. But so far it just doesn't work. And only 4 minutes left until Jaapaasa could claim a win, so time is ticking. So currently some fighting going on here, but a little bit more quiet than before, feels like. I mean, of course, Jaapaasa is not doing any major pushes, and Darth Jar Jar is just slowly forming up his pushes, but the problem is he just cannot afford to do this slowly. He needs to do it soon. Panzergrenadier is just chilling. And now he needs to start pushing. I mean, he's quite nicely cleaned out some of these units here, but he just needs to make ground now and finishes off. And of course, be able to kill the few Shermans that are in. I mean, it kind of makes sense now that Jaapaasa has all the Shermans in sea phase, right? Because he can still call them in somewhat reliably. And the Shermans, of course, can help his infantry stand in the town for a little bit longer. And of course, Shermans are very, very strong in the town, and they just outmatch Darth Jar Jar's armor in the town, except for Tigers. But then again, you don't want to bring a Tiger up close, because then, yeah, I mean, you don't know where there's an M10 or an M5 gun or a bazooka or a Sturmpanzer coming. Not the best spot to cover anything off. Like, I don't know, he still doesn't try to go for the center, which, I don't know, I don't really get it. I mean, I get it, he lost units here, so probably he's a little bit afraid of going in there, but he, like, I don't know, with some recon, he could definitely find out what's going on there and you know, make the right decisions from there. Mortar going after these units there. Just lost radio. Oh, the radio is provided by the F5. It's gonna be like on and off. Yep. Now, the interesting question is, will, I guess where it lands, like, based on the accuracy, will be determined when the shot is fired. So if the radio is there when it's fired, it has a low dispersion, right? Not when it actually lands there? I don't know. Interesting question. I mean, it's not that relevant for the most part, but still interesting. Oh, Sherman in a nice little position to pick up some kills, or to get killed by this Tiger right here. And there's no M5 guns or anything like that. That could prevent that. And one gun here opens up on the Stück 3 and it gets immediately wrecked by the Decima. Oh, down it goes. Tried heroically. Oh, look at that. Sherman goes down, was focused by both Lorraines. The Lorraines are disgustingly strong. Down south, still nothing happening. I mean, it's another thing, right? So, Darth Jar Jar has invested into an IG-33 here, in some more infantry. And then he doesn't actually follow it up, right? He doesn't try to go for this. Now, of course, it's not the best flag to push for. It's not easy to push across, and it's only one flag to grab. But if everything is going on over here, you might actually have a decent chance of being able to get into there, because it has most likely been neglected, which is the case. Now, of course, it's always difficult to do this in the heat of the moment, or at least this is how I feel like it. But you have to think of these things and try to exploit them as much as possible. Stuart here just pushing through. He's going to get a cheeky angle on the Lorraines. Gets a kill. It's going to kill... Yeah, no, I mean, it's no question. It's going to kill the other one too. Oh no. That's devastating. I mean, Darth Jar Jar brings it back to 13-11, but the problem is he has only 15 minutes to go. He needs the 59 and he needs it very, very soon. Losses like these are not going to make this easier. It actually... Did it bounce? Is it facing? No, it's not actually facing it. How did it bounce that? Oh, Stuart gets the kill. That's devastating. That's just devastating. Tiger E got a load of wounded from the M10. The problem is at this range, the M10 can actually pen the Tiger E. Like, very realistically. Still nothing happening down south. We do see another Sturmpanzer IV coming in for the open. If it shows side armor, it will get killed by the M5 gun just once more. Bombing run on what? Did I miss it? Motor going after this armor blob here. I mean, the hold here is actually quite weak from Darth Jar Jar. It tries to again with his Dechima and Exploratory, but it just doesn't work. Like he's invested so much into this and he's gotten so little out of it. That's really bad. I mean, it's just what I said, right? It's just generally not that good going for this. Now he's managed to sneak some Dechima Exploratory behind the lines here, but he has not achieved anything with this. Like, it's just chilling there, doing nothing. 12-12, back to 13-11, back to 12-12. It's not looking good for Jar Jar. I mean, Jaapaasa has heavily outtraded him. Like, look at the amount of red that's still on the map, and then let's look at the amount of blue that's still on the map. Like, I would argue it's probably equal-ish. After 35 minutes, that's not a good sign for blue side, as the balanced player. Now the Marder just pushing forward. You can actually make some quite aggressive plays here, because there's just not that much infantry carried 80, but the Marder, of course, is not the greatest tool against infantry, right? 105 has been repositioned. Should spot the Panzer very, very soon. But this is poking forward now to push forward and potentially provoke some shots that the Sturmpanzer IV could react to. The problem is the 105 is shooting at the 105 is out of range of the Sturmpanzer IV. This one will open up very soon as well. It's also going to be out of range and line of sight of the Sturmpanzer IV. So not looking very good. Darth Jar Jar grabbing this flag now. Is he going to hold it though? That's another question. These have 50 cal, so they could do a lot of work here, and of course the rifle slate will beat the Dechima there. Actually, not necessarily. More air spam coming. It's not really air spam, it's a couple of planes, but we do see some planes. DR-217 once again. Some recon, of course, as well. What's he going after? Yeah, now this is a good use of those units, right? You can stop the grabs of this flag by these units. Fortunately, the Dechima Exploratory here get caught out of guard in the open, or yeah, at longer range at least. Dechima Exploratory can do some work here. The assault fire support not great at these ranges, not at all. Does it actually have? No, it has no special stats or anything. No commander, no nothing. Still 13-11 for Darth Jar Jar, but once again, that's just not enough. He has about 12 minutes-ish left, and he will need 30 minutes to take Jaapaasa completely down. It's just not going to happen. He still needs a 15-9, but currently I can't see. I can't see currently. I do see an M5 gun in, so Jaapaasa, yeah. Jaapaasa just deciding to make sure that Darth Jar Jar is going to have a hard time actually pushing forward through these road, which makes it very, very hard for him to actually, to actually get a good push going here. Because you're usually coming from here. You could come from here as well, and then this thing is kind of useless, but still. Some fighting going on here. TNT gets exchanged. Not much happening. Front line's winging. Now this should tell Darth Jar Jar, of course, that there's nothing here now, but it of course doesn't let him know what's waiting here and what isn't, and I don't think he knows, because otherwise his IG-33 would be opening up. Now his units are pushing forward and he's supporting it with armor. This should have happened a long time ago. Now it's finally coming. This could have even happened as Jaapaasa was pushing, because that would have forced him to react and divert some units, like some attention down south, instead of his actual main attack. That could have helped him tremendously. A Mercer being called in. The problem with artillery is, of course, if it's called in this late, and it needs time to pay off, that can be more of a problem for you than for your opponent, actually. It's calling another one. Yeah, this is not good. Right, he needs to gain ground, and he needs to gain ground quickly, and the artillery is just not going to achieve that, and it costs a lot of points. Finally, the IG-33 has spotted this. Or Darth Jar Jar has. And, I mean, it wouldn't be necessary if the Lorraine wasn't killed. I don't know why he put them up there. I mean, truthfully, like, it wasn't contested when he put them there, but, like, this area was a perfectly safe position. And over here there was fighting, so I don't really know what the idea there was. Two DO-217s now coming in. They should obliterate these units here. Although if the tanks are on the move, if it was... Yeah, they were aiming for them. Oh, get one kill, but it wasn't enough. Oh, and it looks like Darth Jar Jar, I have to imagine. So, oh no, Jaapaasa was on a tick. He got the win. 3,690 to 2,800. Yeah, Jaapaasa definitely outtraded Darth Jar Jar there. Very, very noticeable. Let's look at it real quick. Soul team getting a lot of work on. The other one will more look at this thing go. I mean, it was constantly firing, which is great. Like, if you have this kind of unit, you want to use them as much as you can. And yeah, got a lot of value out of that one. Sherman's doing well. This the assault team, yeah, absolutely disgusting. Not a Sherman. On the other side, what do you have? The early pack 38 did well. The plane did decently well. And some of the Decima, I mean, we saw that. Oh yeah, and of course the 20 mils, because yeah, if there's nothing to kill them off, they can do a lot of work. Plane didn't actually do all that much. I mean, the Decima when they came, they made a real difference. The problem is that Darth Jar Jar was just too much, like just down too much at that point for them to really turn it around quickly enough. But yeah, interesting game. I hope you enjoyed it too. Have a great day and see you next time.